Good day everybody, welcome to the studio. What I have here is just a timber board. So these are just small, or rather thin slices of timber which have been put together. I didn't do it, I bought them like that. And then I primed it with some gesso first. And then what I did was I went around with just a very fine sandpaper and just sanded the edges, because just in case I decide to have my resin flow over, if you have any sharp bits, resin will catch onto that and you won't get that really nice flow. And then what I did, because my gesso was a little bit bumpy, I just went around and very lightly sanded the top of it. I just used some spray varnish and just covered the whole area just so it's nice and smooth, and just extra protection, because where they kind of actually nailed these sides, there's a bit of a gap there, and every now and then when I use these with resin I tend to get some air bubbles come in through there. So I made sure that I covered it a lot with my gesso, black gesso, and then extra, just a bit of extra, because I've got something that I want to paint on here, but so I don't want too many layers, if you know what I mean. I want to get it right the first time, hopefully, and maybe just do another layer on top just so clear. So now I'm finding, just moving my fingers along and feeling some bumpy parts there which I don't want, so I'm just getting rid of those. I want to have that nice fall, and yes, it will take off some of the varnish. That's fine, as long as the top of it is right as rain, as they say. So that's it for me. I mean, not for me, just that's it with preparing this board. So anywho, let's see what happens. I've got an idea of what I want to do, but we shall see. Just got my little acrylic pen here, which is like a brush pen, and I just want to draw a little design. I have to stand up for that because I can't really see what I'm doing. So idea is to kind of flow that way a little bit, and hopefully this is not too thick now, because I don't want to, oh bugger. Okay, so here we go, let's just go like that, but I want to have it kind of going in like that, and then another one going in like that, kind of ending there sort of thing. So I need 8, 1, 2, 3 colors, 4 colors, maybe this one will extend it over here a little bit, 5, this one here, 6, and then we're going to have a couple going down here, 7, and another one going like that, 8. So just an outline. Back. Okay, so I've got all my pigments in order. I've changed the placement of this board sideways so that I've got room for leakage, and I think it'll be easier for me to do it this way. So I've got my Purple Rain, give it a good mix. I'm using a lot of colors, but not a lot of them. I mean, not a lot in the cup is what I mean. So there's my Purple Rain, which is going to, how do I want it? It's going to be very interesting. I might put the Purple Rain over here, this area here. Then I've got my Lipstick Pink metallic. So Purple Rain is a matte color, Lipstick Pink is a metallic. It's a beautiful transparent, which you can make it into opaque. Just depends on how you pour it. So I'm going to have it next to my Purple Rain here, so it's going to go there. Then I've got the Sapphire Blue, or Blue Sapphire rather, powder pigments. I'm carefully stirring it in my resin. There's going to be the next color. I'm creating a bit of a rainbowish effect here. So I'm just going to go ahead, just going to tell you all the colors first, and then I'm going to put you on pause while I mix it. So this was the blue sapphire. Okay, it's going to come next to that one. Then I've got steel blue. Whoops, nearly knocked that. I've got my lucky green, which is a gorgeous pigment. I'm going to actually put this one on a super special price. I'll probably knock 50% off of it, just so you know, to give a chance to everybody, for everybody to have a try of it. It's a really nice color. Then I've got sunflower yellow, I've got Nemo orange, and I've got sassy red. Okay, 8 colors. I've got my white and my gold on standby, molten gold, and I'll be back here shortly. Alrighty then, I just showed you real quickly the colors that I've used there, and I've sped this up about 4 times because the video would have turned into 2 videos, and I don't want to do that to you guys. I'll just do a bit of audio here for you while this is going like a Speedy Gonzales. We are having some fires around us, not in my area, but probably about 15-20 kilometers away. It's under control, but there's fires all over the Central Coast. So it's actually pretty bad. A lot of people have lost their houses. There's been some fatalities too, and it's not good at all. So every now and then you might just hear a siren, in which case I'll just mute this. So I'm going along with my design, and the design didn't actually turn out the way I imagined it. I wanted the colors to, I actually probably shouldn't tell you, I'll tell you that kind of towards the end. But so at the moment I'm just applying these colors one next to the other, and you know, just using my stick a little bit to, you know, for better control. So that was that sunflower yellow, which is a pearl mica pigment, and absolutely gorgeous. And the lucky green right next to it, another beautiful color. It's a green with speckles of gold through it. It's really pretty epoxy paste. And just using my fingers to spread out the colors a little bit, and using my stick as well, just trying to go in between the lines and have it as uniform as possible at this stage. And then afterwards I will introduce the heat to it, which will do its thing as well. This was the steel blue metallic pigment, and the blue sapphire coming on now. Oh my gosh, another beautiful pigment. I love this one, absolutely love it. And actually, while I'm doing this, you know, just layering these colors one next to the other, there's really not much to say about it. You can see what's happening. I just wanted to take this opportunity just to, you know, thank everybody for their support, and also just to send a blessing to everybody out there, because, you know, I just feel so bad for those people who have lost their houses and their homes and their, you know, animals probably, and all the wild animals, the wildlife, all the koalas and the kangaroos and the lizards, and, you know, the birds and everything in the bush. It's just so sad when this happens. And, you know, they should really do back burning in winter to clear some of the areas, because Australia is such a, you know, the trees need to be the forest rather need to be burnt down, and then the new new forest just starts growing. And the Aborigines used to do that hundreds of years ago. When the white man moved in, we kind of didn't know about it and just left it alone, and that's why we get so many bushfires. And people should know, well, the government should know about that, and just do a little bit more back burning. I mean, they do it when it's safe. They burn the forests, and you know, but obviously it's not enough, because these fires are just going crazy everywhere. So, you know, it is pretty smoky outside, but it's nowhere near where I am, and I'm pretty safe where I am. Well, I think I am. And I do have the app which tells me where the fires are, so I'm keeping an eye on things, you know, but it's just so sad. So blessings and love to everybody out there, no matter where you are, because life is just so precious and nothing really matters, you know, because you can replace a house, you can replace things, but there are certain things that you can't replace, like your friends, your family, and I suppose your pets and things like that. That goes. It's a life. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm just doing little swipes here with my hand, just going back and forth. So back one way, sorry, going forward one way and back another way, and just creating a little bit of a design here. And also getting those colors to mingle together and create some awesome stuff. And that purple rain and the lipstick pink just look gorgeous together. Everything looks pretty dark at the moment, except for the red and the orange and the yellow. But I do have a little surprise in the next lot, which was the next day that I did another layer. And just using my heat gun now to just loosen those colors a little bit and help them merge together, and help them move a little bit, and also create some interesting effects in resin. So that is pretty much all done for this one. So when I finish, I will leave it alone and let it set for overnight. So here it is, looking pretty good. I love the effects, and gonna leave it now to set overnight and do something else tomorrow morning. Good day, everybody, welcome back. This is day 2 now. It's been 24 hours, almost exactly. So I absolutely love the composition of this, but it just didn't turn out the way I wanted it to turn out. You know, I wanted it to be droopy going down, but yeah, I didn't plan it properly, I suppose. So all of these, the black areas have got no resin on them, so I was thinking of doing the same sort of system going across underneath this sort of, but I don't know, we'll see. So what I need to do now is I've just got my alcohol ink pen, and I'm just going to divide this now. I'm just going to go around like this, and I've got to do oops, try not to muck it up, about there. Maybe even, okay, let me see if I can wipe that in my, because that is alcohol ink. It might wipe off. Oh, it's not even wiping off. Oh, these are great. These are just new ones that I purchased, and they are permanent. Look at that. That is brilliant. Let me know if you're interested in these. I can get you some. This is amazing. Look at that, permanent alcohol ink pens. Both sides are different. We've got the chisel side, we've got the rounded tip and the chisel side, and we've got all kinds of colours. So anyway, I suppose I could dig it out and scratch it out, but I don't want to do that. Alright, I'll fix that now that I've buggered it up. Actually, I could probably chisel the whole thing out a little bit. Now I'm thinking about it. I'll have to turn around the other way. Sorry, I'm in my own world here, just thinking about what to do. So I reckon if that's gone, if I heat it up a little bit. It should cut through there. And I should use a different tool. Oh yeah, that's cutting that. I'm just going to get a better tool. Okay, tried the other thing, but this is working much better. So I did one whole line just with my really, really sharp tool here. Just being very careful. This will be covered again with clear resin, so do not worry. So I did one whole line. And now I'm going to go again. I'm going to heat it up some more. Make it a bit easier on myself. Now just going a little bit on the side, just being very careful, going slowly, and that's coming out pretty easy. I'm putting a lot of pressure, a lot of force into it. So okay, so I got that channel there now, and just got to fix up over here a little bit just to tidy it up. So I just I mean, it's obviously if I leave this for another day or so, it'll be much harder to do. Okay, so that's that done now. Fix up this area here. Now that I've done that, now I can colour in that in this black. Groovy. Look at that. There you go, fixed. There's nothing you can't fix. There you go. Beauty. Quite surprised at these pens. This is unbelievable. Alright, done. Now let me mix up some resin and get see what happens. Before I mix my resin, although I really want my resin to be nice and thick, I'm just going to paint some of this masking fluid on some areas where I don't want my resin to leak over. Now I am putting a really thick layer of this, and I'm going to have to wait for it to dry. This is used in acrylic paintings. I don't know if it'll want to peel off this, but we'll see. Oh, or if it will even protect it from resin. We shall see. I think if I put a thick layer of it, I think it'll be fine. It will just take a little bit longer to dry, you know. But I don't want to wreck that area there. So this will be a good test for me as well, to see if this will work. If this works, then I'll be using it again, that's for sure. You can definitely use it with the acrylics. So I'm going over this area too, because I don't want that to be touched either. That there I'm going to have to fix anyway, so I might just go that way. Alright, so I'll let that dry a little bit, and I'm going to put a couple of coats of it going over here, because this is a really nice area. We should have used a flat brush. Can't even talk. Alright, I might speed it up with a bit of heat and air. So I've decided to cut that a part of that red, and I did the same sort of thing with the heat gun. Loosen up the resin a little bit, and then I cut it and then just lifted it up, and look at that beautiful skin, which I can use to
create a little bit of like a flower or something like that, make a rose out of it. Of course, if I waited another day, that would have been much harder to lift. And what I did was, because I lifted some of the gesso up with the skin, I just covered that area with some triple thick triple thick varnish, okay, and waited for it to dry. And now I'm applying my red, which is supposed to continue to, the idea was to go to create an illusion of another rainbowish kind of scene going underneath that rainbow, so it's behind it, you know. And what I'm doing now is just using my acrylic brush pen just to mark off the areas. So I've got 8 colors, the red is already there, so I'm going around and marking seven lines so that I have an idea where I'm going to put the colors. And you know, because that's an acrylic pen, it was really easy to wipe off and do it right, as I say, do it right, you know. So that way I've got a bit of a guideline as to where I'm going to be putting my colors and not end up missing out on a color. So yellow's coming in, and of course I put it in the wrong spot because the next one after red should be an orange, and I didn't want to put the orange right next to red. I wanted to skip a color and just allow the resin to sit a little bit on its own there before I place another color next to it, because I didn't want them merging too much. And it actually worked out really well. I ended up using the heat gun and merging them together and making them move a little bit, but I didn't have to do that. That's only because I wanted to do it to kind of match the original painting a little bit. But it works really well when you just skip a color, wait for it to sit a little bit while you're doing all the rest of them, and then go back to it and fill in between. It works really well, and they kind of just sit there. So there's a few little tricks that you will learn in this video. The masking tape was one of them, and that worked really well. I was super pleased with how that worked out. And cutting through, and I actually want to do a piece now where I will do a piece and then cut out little channels like I did with that red, and then just create it like a little, make it look like a collage. I think that would be quite interesting. Maybe fill it in with something else. I know, I get these ideas just by doing art. So now filling in those areas, and they are working really well. You see there's no merging, everything is working great. I am being careful not to put them too close to the other color, so I'm leaving a tiny little gap, maybe about 1 millimeter or 2 millimeters in between them. And then afterwards, once I start putting the gold in between them, the gold will do its own thing, which is also amazing. But at this stage, just looking at it now, I think this looks like a really great background for maybe like a Mediterranean or like a European landscape, with all of those stripy lines, the bottom and the top, looking like fields of different things. The yellow one could be corn, and you know, different things. It's a bit abstract, I suppose, but I can pop some houses around on the top, and maybe even making an upside down painting, like a world in between, to have houses on one side and houses on the other side, and trees and things like that. and the blue part could be a river, and the deeper blue could be an ocean or a sea or something like that. It's just, I get these ideas just by, you know, observing what I'm doing. And somebody told me, somebody just put a comment in underneath one of my videos saying that it was quite spiritual for her to watch it. It felt spiritual, and that's how I feel when I'm creating. And a lot of the times I don't really like to talk while I just do it naturally now, because I think it's just something that a teacher would do. But I like to do things, you know, when I'm painting and when I'm creating, I like to do it in silence. And you know, I do talk to myself, you know, oftentimes I do, especially if I muck something up and then I said, well, that was stupid. Let it go, just let it do its own thing, you know. So anyway, just applying some more of the colors where I feel that they need to, you know, fill in some of the gaps. I'm just going around. I've got that gold in between already, so it's almost done, really. And I'm loving this piece. It is different. It's absolutely different to what I usually do, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun creating this, and it's good to do something different once in a while. I mean, or all the time, you know, keep changing. I actually went and looked at some of my videos from a couple of years ago and thought, oh, I might just actually do something like that. So it's okay to go back and do something that you've done before and totally kind of gone off it, and then gone on to other things. So I use the heat gun a little bit, and at this stage the resin is quite thick. I've lost that purple rain a little bit in there, so I'm pushing it out a little bit with the heat gun, just so that you can see that. And the purple rain and the gold and that lipstick pink just look marvelous together. And shortly you will see a close-up of what I've done. And like I said, this is going to be a really nice background for like a Mediterranean country scene, which I can't wait to tackle, but I do have another project. Okay, so that was just a spray varnish. It doesn't give any effects, but I find that it takes care of the bubbles a little bit, because I had a lot of bubbles in there, and I can still see a couple, but it seemed to wipe them out somehow. I don't know, maybe pushes them in. Wow, that looks cool. That area there is really awesome. Wow, this is something really different. Okay, here we go. Look at that. Crazy stuff happening in there. It's selling all within itself. That blue. Oops, sorry, you can see my... what's going on? Alright, I'm trying to... okay, let me try that again. Okay, I've turned off my lights so you can see. This is just a natural light, which is not the best at this time of day, but look at that. At least you don't have that terrible glare. The colours are coming out quite bright. That's an orange. It's coming through like a pink, but it's actually an orange. So all the colours are a little bit wrong at the moment. Actually, that one's pretty close. It's just a bit deeper. So yeah, quite like it. Okay, just quickly showing you. I'm doing this with one hand, so I do apologise if I've out of focus a little bit. Just showing you how I'm lifting that. So the resin is still wet. So we'll relax into the other resin hopefully, and hopefully this won't rip on me. But it's coming up beautifully, look at that. Coming up real nice. And I think it ripped a little bit on the side there, but I'm not 100% sure. So there it is down there. And might just hit that a little bit with my heat gun. And I haven't done this side yet. Okay, so but I will do this side. Actually, this side will probably be cool to show you. I might need two hands just to get it started, and then I'll show you. And now I am just starting off at the end or the beginning, whichever way you want to look at it, of this what turned into a tape. Yeah, it's pretty much done. Then I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of heat from the heat gun to just get those that resin to mellow down a little bit and merge in with the other resin. And that's it for this piece. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you soon in another video. You all have a great day. Bye for now.